All right, let's do this.
Here on behalf of the league team. We have a lot to cover today, including our plans for preseason, challenges, and game modes. But first, let's talk about the state of the game.
Now let's talk about it. State of the game, let's talk about it.
Overall, we're pretty happy with the state of League this season.
Nah.
But before we get into the details, let's dive into a topic that's been pretty popular lately, which is new champion balance. When we look at the data, we actually see that new champions have been pretty balanced on release this year, with the exception of Dr. Mundo. That said, there's more to healthy gameplay than just win rates, and we're still hearing that new champions feel unfair to play against, particularly when it comes to complex abilities or overloaded kits. If we're being completely honest, we don't think our champions have overloaded kits overall. But that being said, there have been times when we've given new champions too many tools and had to pull back later to give them more clear weaknesses. For example, Samira's ability to dash to allies was removed because it provided too much safety. Combined with her missile blocker, it made CCing her too difficult, especially since that's one of her main forms of counterplay. Another thing we consider when we hear a champion feels bad to play against is their intended complexity. We try to make a healthy mix of high, medium, and low complexity champions. In this way, whether you like mechanical skill expression, point and click simplicity, or something in between, there's a new champion that interests you. For example, with Vex, we wanted to create a champion that was fairly easy to pick up, and we're happy to see she's hitting that mark. But beyond just how complex a champion is to play, there's also how difficult they are to understand. We want new champions to have unique gameplay, but you shouldn't need a wiki to know how to play with or against them. Learning counterplay is a skill test we do think is important, but knowing what a champ can or can't do shouldn't be a part of it. This clarity is something we haven't always hit the mark on, especially with champions like Aphelios, who not only has a complex kit, but was also lacking UI clarity when he was released. Designing new champions is a constant balance between making something that's exciting, has clear counterplay, and isn't confusing. We're still trying to find that.
Wait, hold the phone, Riot Safe Locked. Is there a live Discord call?
Yeah, I saw that. It's also the videos in 30 FPS, not 60.
We're still trying to find that line, but we want to get to a clear count.
Does anyone see this? Look at the top left of the screen.
Lacking UI clarity when he was released. Designing new champions is a constant balance between making something that's exciting, has clear counterplay, and isn't confusing. We're still trying to find that line, but we want to get to a spot where new champions aren't just.
We need Joe on production.
But that you all feel
we need what is going on.
Beyond new champion releases, this season we've seen a wide variety of picks in every role. We've also seen a healthy improvement in diversity of playstyles across roles, especially in jungle and top lane. Some of this is due to direct champion changes, such as the kit adjustments that enable picks like Jungle Darius, Brand, and Morgana. New items like Anathema's Change and Hullbreaker have also had a positive impact, especially in top lane where we're seeing a ton of champion diversity. And finally, we know that some champion classes have been struggling after the item system update, and we've been working on some solutions to help them out. And this brings us to our plans for preseason. With that, I'm going to hand things off to Brightmoon, who will go more in depth on the upcoming changes.
Okay.
Hey everyone, I'm Brightman, the lead producer of gameplay on League of Legends. League is like a house. Sometimes we need to do a big renovation to keep it working well, like when we overhauled the item system. And sometimes we just need to add some new furniture. For this year's preseason, we're sprucing things up with improvements to our existing systems, like items, runes, and the Elemental Rift. Let's start with our plans for items. While some champions and classes have lots of build options, we've still got others that don't feel like they've got a mythic or legendary that really speaks to them. So we're going to be adding some new items and tweaking some others. This will include 2 new mythic items. The first one is a support tank item.
You should have said 20! There's not enough items in the game right now. There's none! Itemization has been simplified, and pros still can't do it right. This is insane! What is going on? The first one is a support tank item, perfect champions that we want to get. Oh yeah.
Want to get aggressive and charge into the middle of a fight. When you immobilize an enemy champion, all nearby enemies will take increased damage from your team for a short period of time.
Oh yeah, they don't need help.
It's built for mages who are looking for a little more survivability. It grants damage reduction that lingers for a few seconds after you get hit, and while the protection holds, you'll also get ability haste. We think it'll be particularly good for longer range mages who need a mythic that helps them survive a dive rather than pile on extra damage.
Wait,
When we
let me,
updated
hold
League's
on.
item
Let me
system,
get this straight.
particularly
Let me get this
wall of
straight.
protection, it grants damage reduction.
So
that links- we're
it's a
looking for
it's a
little more
mythic
survivability.
mage item
It
that grants
damage reduction that lingers
survivability,
for a few seconds
damage
after you get
reduction.
hit. And while
The problem is that it's not gonna go on artillery mages. It's not gonna go on artillery mages. It's not gonna go on long range mages. It's going to go on AP bruisers. Or it'll go on AP bruisers. It will not, they will not, you cannot forego, unless the item's turbo broken, you cannot forego Leandries or
You'll
Ludens.
also
You
get
can't
ability
do it.
haste. We think it'll be particularly good for longer range mages who need a mythic.
No, it's the opposite! Longer range mages have mythics! They suck! What? It is the opposite of what the thought process is. Because here's the problem. If you actually design a mythic that simultaneously allows for a long-range artillery mage to also be unkillable, while still allowing them to deal a lot of damage, the item is turbo broken! It doesn't make sense! So what you're basically saying is that you're making an item that is just going to either be good enough to out-damage Leandry, Ludens, Everfrost, whatever, or make the damage so comparable that it would be crazy to not just go this item and play well anyway. Because it doesn't make any sense. And the way that we can know stuff like this is by looking at like card games, right? When looking at how cards are too broken. It doesn't make sense.
That helps them survive a dive rather than pile on extra damage.
This would be good if it's a legendary. Okay? That would be good as a legendary. If you're Victor or whatever, right? Okay, well no, hold on. Let me say something. Okay. So you guys remember me complimenting Power of Evil's Riftmaker Orianna, and I said that the reason that it was okay was because Riftmaker gave him increased survivability, and he did not need excess damage because he already had a lot of excess damage. So in an instance like that, a mythic like this would have been better suited to exist than Riftmaker, right? But it doesn't currently exist. That situation is so hyper unique. That is such an uber ultra hyper unique situation that the item is better off being a legendary so that it can apply to a wider range of situations. Not an item that either is so good that it incentivizes you to forego your natural playstyle and tendency because the damage loss is not there so that the upsides are just too good, or that the item is just so bad that no one's going to build it anyway, except in those already hyper niche situations.
When we updated League's item system, we wanted to give every champion strategic choices in every game.
Oh, yeah.
We still
Yeah,
think that's the right goal for mythics, but our thinking has changed when it comes to legendary items. We think it's okay if some champions build the same legendary in most games if it's a perfect fit. But we also want you to have plenty of options, which is why we're improving legendaries for mages, assassins, and tanks.
Good.
For example, assassins can look forward to a new legendary item that gives ability haste, and also refunds a portion of their ultimate's cooldown with enemy takedowns.
Okay.
Tanks that can never get enough mana will be happy with a new legendary item that grants bonus health based on total mana, and also burn some of it to create a shield whenever they immobilize an enemy. And finally, mages who are tired of being denied their hard-earned kills can rejoice. They'll be receiving a new legendary that grants magic pen against recently shielded enemies. As for runes, we think there are some good targeted changes we need to make.
That is pretty good, though.
Most of all, we feel the Inspiration Tree's identity has been pretty unclear.
True.
We'd like to broaden its keystone use cases. For example, we're reworking Glacial Augment to double down on its fantasy of slowing down enemies. We are also making some modifications to Lethal Tempo to lean into its attack speed fantasy and give it a more distinct use case than the Precision Tree. Up next are bounties. Champion bounties give teams who are behind a way to get back into the game without being a straight shot to victory.
Okay.
And this year, we're adding a second way for teams to try and make a comeback. Objective bounties will work like champion bounties, except you cash them in by taking map objectives, like towers or Baron. They ramp up slowly when the enemy team lead grows, and the bounty is shared with your whole team, regardless of who claimed it. Taking objectives really is the best way to come back when you're behind, so we want to help make that.
This is a good thing because it incentivizes flips, which leads to more action. It incentivizes going for the 50-50s, and it makes them more exciting. But also, it does mean that if you are ahead and the opponent manages to get that you are punished harder. So, honestly, I like it. I like it. It incentivizes action. It doesn't force you to go for it, but it's a little extra reward if you manage to get the steal or you manage to outplay the opponents. I like it. I like it. I like it. This is a good change.
And more rewarding strategy. That said, if a team is really far ahead, objective bounties won't change that. Being the better team should always get you a win.
True.
So we'll be watching the new bounty system closely to keep things in check. Finally, let's talk about our biggest addition this preseason, dragons.
Cool.
We really like how each dragon creates unique terrain, grants powerful buffs, and adds more strategy to the mid and late game. So this preseason, we're adding 2 more.
The level of excitement that this guy has right now is honestly, I feel like he just bought someone in like Hostel 6. Like I don't even know what's actually coming, but like I feel like I just got a trailer to Hostel 6. Like I don't even what is going on. Oh no.
Dragon. When your team defeats it, you'll all gain additional abilities.
Yes, I predict. Yes.
And if you claim the soul, you'll receive it.
That's literally what I said. Like in August or July. That's so fucking good. Okay.
You'll gain additional ability haste and attack speed. And if you claim the soul, you'll receive a chain slow that works kind of like Static Shiv's passive. When this dragon takes over the rift, it creates Hextech gates that can transport you to set locations across the map. The second dragon joining the party is Hextech's darker sibling, the Chemtech Drake. When you slay it, your team will deal increased damage when your HP is low, letting you turn around those close team fights. This soul provides a second chance at life. Well, sort of. When you die, you'll enter a zombie state, where you can still cast abilities and continue fighting when you'd normally be looking at a gray screen. And when the
This is like that Vince McMahon. This is actually that Vince McMahon, like the image. You know what I mean? Like you know the Vince McMahon thing? The image of Vince McMahon with WWE? What the hell? Wait, I love this.
Map.
This is sick.
Camouflage zones in fixed locations.
Wait, what does it do? Hold on.
The map. It creates camouflage zones in fixed locations. These dragons might seem more impactful than the current ones, and well, they are.
I love
more impactful than the current ones, and well, they are. Our goal is.
He doesn't even try to deny it. Like,
strategy to the
no, they are. Like.
That said, these are some pretty big changes, and we're ready to adjust if they're making too much, too little impact. You can expect to see all of these changes on PBE in a couple of weeks, and we'll be looking for your feedback in the months ahead.
Ooh, that was good. I love those
Outside of
dragons.
Preseason, something we've heard from all of you is that you'd like more ways to express yourself and your achievements in League. For some of you, ranked is how you define your progress, and that's great. We don't want to change that. But for those of you who aren't focused on the rank climb, there aren't great ways to express your own progress. Champion Mastery and Eternals help you show off your skills on a particular champ, but they don't tell the story of your broader League legacy. The new Challenges system should achieve just that. Challenges rank up over time, showcasing your increasing mastery and legacy across a bunch of different systems, modes, and gameplay, making it a little different than just a standard achievement. We want to highlight not just your rank and champion mastery, but also your inventiveness, breadth of play styles, collection, and everything else in between. Want to showcase your knack for never dying in ARAM? Or how great you are at killing minions in SR in the first 10 minutes? Maybe you've collected over 100 champions, or love participating in events. All of this is now possible to track and display your progress with challenges. You'll get the first glimpse of challenges when they hit PBE next month, and the full system will launch early next year. That's all I have to share with you today. Thanks so much for watching, and here's SafeLocked again to talk about game modes.
When it comes to game modes, one thing we've been hearing from you all is that you'd like more variety in the modes we bring back alongside events. So,
Give us map skins.
let's talk about it. To start, we actually agree that the existing rotation of game modes can make some of the most popular modes like Earth and One for All feel a bit stale. Some of you have asked why we just don't bring back some of our other older game modes like Star Guardian Invasion or Ascension to mix things up. And the answer is that bringing back old modes isn't as easy as flipping a switch.
Where's Dominion?
League is constantly changing, which means all of our existing modes require constant upkeep. For example, when we released Yumi, we had to figure out how she'd function in One for All. What happens when a Yumi attaches to a Yumi who is attached to a Yumi? Because of upkeep like this, we have to be very selective about the modes we maintain. And right now, there are just too few popular modes that feel worth the investment compared to making brand new modes or updating more resonant ones for you. We've mentioned this before, but we think the sweet spot for game modes are ones that amplify champion fantasies and really build on what you love about your champs and Summoner's Rift. So moving forward, we're focusing on adding more game modes that hit this goal. And to that, let's talk about Ultimate Spellbook. First and foremost, you all seem to really love this one. It was one of our highest engagement modes ever, second only to Earth. And beyond popularity, we're super happy with how long you spent making oversized champions with Cho'Gath Salt, and by that we mean the total amount of time you spent in Ultimate Spellbook stayed high throughout the event. That gives us confidence that it's worth keeping around. That said, there are some clear areas of feedback that we want to address. Junglers were forced to take Smite and another ultimate, which meant they couldn't choose another summoner spell. They also missed out on a lot of exciting plays during the laning phase because they were stuck clearing camps. Beyond that, we also heard that games started to feel a little repetitive due to the small number of available ultimates. And we agree. So, this winter we'll be bringing back Ultimate Spellbook with a bigger ult pool. We'll also be making some adjustments for junglers to ensure that your experience in Ultimate Spellbook is just as fun as everyone else's. If you'd like to learn more about our approach to game modes, you can check out the dev blog that's coming out today. That's all we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you're enjoying Worlds as much as we are, and for any pros watching, once again, please pick a Mumu.
Okay, there's no map skins. Also, something just dawned on me. The dragons feel like they're playing off of Legion. Do you guys know World of Warcraft Legion? That was like the last like uber popular WoW expansion. This is Legion. This is actually Fel, like Fel energy. Okay, this is not Chemtech. This is literally just Fel. Okay, this is actually Legion. Okay, which some people might say is like the last really good WoW X pack. So it is tugging on our memories, and you know what? It worked. Honestly, I love it. So that's totally fine. I would really like map skins. I mean, obviously there's that. I mean, the challenges kind of suck. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I think that there needs to be other changes that they need to do, though, because one of the things that I share the sentiment with like Nemesis about is if you guys noticed that collaborations in League of Legends died over the last 2 years, right, when they killed Duo. High MMR collaborations and high MMR streaming died when you made all the high MMR streamers only play by themselves, unless they play on like lower MMR IDs. So collaboration content is not there. And I'm worried about what that means for YouTube and Twitch content and streaming when collaboration content isn't there. So I agree with Nemesis' sentiment. Now, Nemesis was normally Nemesis was normally in favor of removing duo queue. But then, obviously, I think obviously he might be a little bit biased now that he's a content creator, but if you just look at Twitch and you see what happens, it does get very tiresome to just, if you're like a high MMR player like him, or any of like the EUS Challenger players or like NA streamers that you watch, there's no collabs possible. It's not very easy to do collabs that are not just like voice centric, right? So there's that, and that kind of sucks. Yeah, I like the camouflage map. Anyways, I like all of this. Honestly, I love the dragons. The items, I mean, we'll hold out for it. New champion balance, class diversity, whatever. I mean, that's totally fine. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Honestly, I don't mind it at all. All right, let's go back. Let's